All right, we're back 2 weeks later. There is a great abundance of lilies to show and share. I'm so excited about them. This is being an amazing July here for me. Really gratifying to see so much of what I intended to have happen be happening. It's really cool when you set your mind to a thing and then lay out your strategy and do the work, and it ends up kind of being like you imagined. That is marvelous. We're going to get down there so we get a better look, but I'm just going to take a view from the top here of the wildflower field. I don't think it's going to really come through very well how lovely these colors are down there, but we'll go down and take a look, of course. And yeah, pretty excited. Lilies. These are going to be the deep, dark red ones. And this batch, there was one here that was like 6 or 7 feet tall last year, and then one or two others that were good size. And now it's like everything's doubled. I'm going to have to dig them all up out of here and split them up and spread them around. Yeah. I've been waiting today for a good time with the light. So I wanted there to be light coming across the wildflower field down there. And it's only later in the day that the poppies really come out and show themselves in the field, and they add a really nice counterpoint with the yellow and orange to set off all the really gentle sort of Dutch feeling purple and lavender going on. Wall is coming along nicely. Who knows? Maybe by next year I'll get to the point where I have it completely thronged. Maybe that's not the right word. Inundated, overwhelmed. I want it to be just swarming, the whole railing to be swarming with vines and flowers. And I think it's finally within sight. It only took 8 years. Yeah, these ones are awesome. Some sort of tigrinum, tiger lily. Mm-hmm. And so many blooms to come yet. All the orientals, which have not yet begun. And it works out so the Asiatic tend to start wilting and dying off before the orientals really come in. It's very nice arrangement, good for everyone. Just take a peek here at how the crocosmia are coming along. This is a good year for them finally, or a good, getting underway. There's a dozen or more of them that are flowering this time compared to their first season 2 summers ago when only one flowered, and then I think just a couple last year. But these flowers are coming, and they're awesome. Oh my gosh, the Lucifer crocosmia. And my friend mentioned the other day that these look pretty anemic as crocosmia go. They're supposed to be much lusher and fuller with their greens and greenery and stuff. And I don't know what the story is. They're in good soil, and they get sunlight, and they get lots of water. So, I don't know. I'm not worrying about it. I got time. Yeah. The hens and chicks are just blowing up down here. Look at that one. We might end up with some flowers from them this year, and they make the weirdest flowers. Some serious, bizarre, psychedelic Dr. Seuss kind of flowers come out of these things. But they don't flower very often. They haven't flowered every year. Got those flowering sweet pea vines, 3 little starts in there that are hopefully going to make some amends for the utter failure of this. I blocked the name of it out of my mind, out of my memory. Self-preservation, I guess. come on, pull up. Is that Hawaiian fruit? Oh well. Anyhow, it's a vine that's not supposed. It's not supposed to grow here anyhow. So the fact that I killed it is completely forgivable. Lilies. Good stuff. They're so gorgeous. I am so into them. And all the successes so far this year with things have got me all fired up again. I kind of took it easy last fall in terms of planting more stuff. I think I was still a little overwhelmed from the fall prior to that. So the fall of 23, where I had ended up with the 12,000 bulbs due to like escalating hyper imagineering. And then there I was. They arrived in boxes and boxes and boxes, and they were all stacked up in the garage while I was laid up with my back out for 3 weeks during the prime planting time. Very stressful. I want to just take a quick look at this very pretty flower. I think it might be some kind of iris. It looks like it's already starting to wilt a little bit. They don't last long. I don't know what they're called or where I got them, but they're nice. It seems like one comes along and then dies out, and I don't know if there's going to be more. We'll see. Rose Campion being awesome, continuing to be awesome, and they're all up in there, up on the hillside. Can't really see too well from here. Let's see if I can zoom in on that a little bit. Can I just do that? Yeah, it's hard to see, but they're in there. They're kind of covered by grass and stuff. And then there's a new flower up in there, and this in the middle. That's that lighter pink, that larger blossom. It's very dainty and delicate. Happy to see them here too. Yeah, the sedum wall looking so good. None of this was here when I got here and got started on this. It was really just this bare rock. All the moss and all the sedums and everything that you see growing, I more or less kind of move them around. You just grab a chunk of them and move them somewhere else. It's pretty fun propagating. Yeah, I was hoping to get a little bit of this backlight effect here at this time of day. Although the sun's really soft now, it's kind of in behind a filtered cloud, so we're not really getting too much of it. You get this really nice juxtaposition here where you come down from the maple trees, and then further up in the hillside, it's all just the wild stuff. We still see the foxglove, and there's some thistles there right now that are backlit that are really pretty. And then there's this row of all these lilies, which currently is just the Asiatic, which are relatively plain, and then those really pretty tiger lilies in there. Putting the tiger in tiger lily. What's up? What's up, tiger lilies? But also we can see all these unusual ones here getting ready, getting staged. These are, I think, the Orient Pet or lily tree varieties, which I haven't really seen flower yet. They didn't do much last year. They needed a lot of time to get established. But it's yummy. Look at this. Yummy's the word. I did plant in along the front, right along the front edge of all of this wood sorrel, between the wood sorrel and the rocks there, about 100 freesia bulbs, and also planted them over in that square tilled area where I had the daffodils earlier this year. I don't really know those flowers. I just grabbed them at Costco a few months ago and then took way too long to plant them, but I think they'll be okay. You can get away with planting things in July, I believe. Yep. So once again, kind of a broken record here, but super good call to pull all the lilies out of these big planters because the clematis are so happy now. And is the doggy happy? Huh? How's the doggy? Would you like to go on the camera? Hello. Whoop, 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 whoop. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Okay, on we go. suppose I could have paused it here, but I didn't. Not a lot to see until we get down to the flower field. We have all these allium coming, which currently just look like this, but they're just maybe a week away from puffing open into these big purple globes, and then they'll be kind of groovy. I still have these wild strawberries, and I still come and feed from this whole patch here. It's about 10 by 20 feet, where there's quite a few of them tucked in there on behind the leaves, and they're delicious. Delicious. I've got zinnia seeds coming, and I'm going to put them in this. Looks pretty scruffy now, but it's a well prepared stretch of soil along the pathway there. And also over here, there's a lot of space and opportunity, I think, for zinnias, which I don't know anything about, but I'm going to plant some and see what happens. All right, so let's see if we can get the vibe of this stuff. It's really hard. It has been continually frustrating when there have been good days with these to try to capture it at all. I think it's because you don't get the color and detail unless the camera's looking up pretty close at a given section of them, but then you don't get the sort of awing effect of the scope of it all, like just how many there are. And you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm getting at? There's no real way to get what the eye sees, especially when you're standing in the middle of these and the light is just right. Oh my goodness, it's very pretty. And all these Asiatics up here. There's a whole stretch, there's 10 feet or so at the end where they're just gone. And my best guess is that it was the mole somehow. Moles must have crawled around down there where they were planted and tore up those bulbs. Because they were, they were planted all the way to the end of this blue wall. Speaking of which, I just painted that blue wall, which had been white. Like all the vinyl, all the retaining wall stuff was all like that. Rather not pretty. And I've been steadily chipping away at bringing in this blue, which is rather pretty. And I find that to be preferable. Oh, here is some of the Clarkia, which is a favorite of the wildflowers from last year, and I'm glad to see them coming back. This is actually their time. I think they come in over the next couple of weeks and start to dominate here. We shall see. Yes, lots of beauty, lots of goodness. All the daylilies are back in here. They have been a bit of a chore because they got overwhelmed by all of the foxglove, so that they were in shadow and too much of a friendly habitat for slugs. So I've been having to do a lot of almost daily crawling around through here and de-slugging and clearing away, making sure they're getting light and everything. And there are 35 of them from here all the way up through, and you can see, like back in there, you can see some flower buds of the daylilies just starting to form and getting ready to open. I had one of them open a couple days ago, and it was super pretty. These are all different. It's a whole variety of varieties. So when they eventually all start flowering, and quite a few of them are maybe not going to flower at all this year, but some of them are now. This is better than last year when I chose in my ignorance to not water them throughout the summer, and they mostly just stagnated and nearly died. So there was very little flowering. The only real flowering, I think, was from the one that, that was close. The one that was here, a large, I think Stella d'Oro is the variety, which is like the most common far and away of all the daylilies. That sort of usual yellowy orange flower that you see that's pretty plain, But there are lots of varieties of daylilies that have really intricate patterning and lots of like dramatic contrasts. Oh, yeah. Very good. And here, in case you were wondering, this is what lily white looks like. Lily white. Yeah, these are super pretty, and I'm excited for when the orientals come along because they're a little fancier. And they have that smell, which I like. Ah, good. Okay, we're just about finished. We're just going to take a peek and appreciate that the hydrangea is coming in, getting some flowers. Yeah, that's about all she wrote. Oh, man. Let's just step over here for a farewell view. I'm madly in love. I was starting to say how I'm feeling so inspired by all these successes now that it is setting me up for another big fall. And I have plans. I've sketched out a bunch and chosen a bunch of things that I'm going to order and do a bunch more planting because, as we all know, more is better. Right? Isn't that right? It certainly I can't see how that is not the case in the matter of flowers. There's so much room here. As many flowers as there is so much room for more and more. And I am hopefully making choices in that regard that are, something in the realm of permanent, like naturalizing stuff that's just going to be here steadily expanding and growing and making more and more and more and more over the years, over the decades. We shall see. Peace out.